Hi everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Kishalay. He's currently doing his PhD from IIT Kharagpur. So let me just introduce you, sir. So sir did his bachelor's in technology BTech from computer science from West Bengal University of Technology. Then he did his master's from IISc in CSE, and now currently he's doing his PhD in machine learning. So also, sir, work experience includes being a software engineer, associate software engineer in Accenture, system engineer in TCS, then working as a scientist in ISRO as well. And then he also has worked, which is an optional thing, which I'm really curious about why he did that. He worked as TA for while he was in IISc because that's an optional thing for them. So I want to know why he did it that way. And of course, now he's doing his PhD. So welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start with the questions right away because you started off as a software developer and a systems engineer. What
Hmm.
motivated your decision to go for GATE? Because that's what led you to ISRO as well as to MTech. So what motivated that decision?
Yeah, so when I completed my BTech, so that time I didn't have any kind of this kind of goal that I'll be going for GATE or MTech or ISRO. So I simply, like any other engineer, I joined this company. So this Accenture came to my campus only. I cracked it and I joined it. Then after working there for some time, what I realized is that in these IT companies, most of the projects are kind of support-based projects. So like some company will develop something and then you have to support it for a longer period of time, and because
Right.
this duration of support is longer than the developing something, so that's why this company's
Mm,
priority is that most of the project will be support based project. Now the problem
right.
in the support based project is most of the works are kind of repetitive. You'll feel kind of boring monotonous work you'll be doing. Yeah, obviously sometimes your skills and technology will be updated, but then again for the next 5 to 6 years you have to work on the same technology. So there I started feeling a bit of frustrated, and I feel like I can do more than what is being asked from me in these IT companies. So that was kind of the major motivation of starting preparing for GATE. I mean, I started preparing for GATE in 2013. That time it was not so popular. I mean, most of people preferred to stay in the IT companies. Very few people was thinking to come to GATE and all. But yeah, that time only I started thinking of it, and that's why I
Right.
moved to TCS Kolkata, and then I started preparing for GATE.
Okay. Okay. So the idea behind moving to TCS was that you can prepare while
Yeah,
staying
yeah,
close to home.
yeah. Because TCS were giving me this, job location is Kolkata. So I mean, in
Right.
Accenture, I was in Hyderabad. Oh, so it's very difficult to stay in the state and then prepare. So it's better to come
Hmm.
back to your home state and prepare
Yeah.
for something. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about ISRO's recruitment. I mean, that itself is a very long process. It depends on a lot of factors. Sometimes ISRO means declares vacancies. Sometimes it does not declare vacancies. So it's very chance-based as well, and it's a long process. So what was that process like for you, and what was the overall experience of it?
Yeah, so when I was like preparing for GATE and side by side I was preparing for ISRO, that time,
Right.
I mean, the vacancy used to come very many periodically. I mean, every year they used to release some vacancies, though the number
Hmm.
was not fixed. I mean, sometimes it's 14, sometimes it's 30. So this is the thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was like a regular recruitment they was doing that time.
Right.
The process is like there are two steps. The first step is that you have to give a written test where you'll be asked around I think 80 questions. So each question carry 3 marks. So if you correctly solve it, you will get 3 marks, and if you can't solve it, there will be -1. And you'll be given 2 hours to solve it. So you have to be very super fast to solve this question.
Yeah.
So it's very, I mean, it's almost impossible to solve all the questions. So as much as you can solve, that's the better. And after that, there will be a cutoff, and if you clear the cutoff, then you will be called for the interview. There will be around 30 to 40 minutes personal interview that you have to go through, and if you can do well in the interview, then kind of you are through. But what I've heard after joining ISRO, that they don't only see this written test and interview, they also go through your academic background. I mean, how much score you have done in your 10th, 12th, BTech, and if you have masters. So how is your overall background also? That also sometimes they look into, and then they decide, I mean, whether you'll be a kind of, it's a comparison. I mean, if there is a better candidate, that he or she will be selected, and if you are better than them, you'll be selected. So this is kind of the overall selection process. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think it obviously helps in breaking ties between candidates who are equally qualified. But
Right, right, right.
yeah, won't isn't there also a component about like because it's ISRO, you are expected to know some degree of physics as well, some degree of something that they are already working on. Even though you are CS engineer, are you expected to know something related to physics, something related to aerospace engineering, maybe not specifically that, but something related to that?
Yeah, I mean, what I have experienced, I mean, kind of even after joining in the interview also, I mean, even after joining also, nobody, asked me anything about astrophysics or kind of aerospace things. Kind of
Right.
computer science, and in the interview, sometimes they ask something about this mathematics, like this geometry and all, the formulas and all. I mean, in one of my interviews, so I have given interview for 2 times. So the first times when I was not selected, so they asked me a few basic questions from geometry from the class 10th and 12th. So that's all. I mean, after you join there, it's completely a computer science based job that you are expected to do.
Right. So let's talk a little about that. What are the different opportunities that a CS engineer gets to explore at ISRO?
I mean, that was kind of the point that why I left ISRO. So I personally feel that ISRO is a aerospace company. I mean,
Right.
and their first priority is aerospace related tasks that they are doing, and their complete research
Mm.
that they are doing on that's on aerospace and a bit of communication, maybe in the mechanical side also. What I feel was that computer science, there is not much scope of research there in ISRO. Obviously, there are a lot of work in ISRO. Don't think that there is no work in ISRO. There are a lot of work you have to do in ISRO, but most of the work is like software development, or maybe you have to manage their networks. So ISRO's network is very
Right.
complicated networks. Like
Mm.
recently, as you know, Chandrayaan landed there. Then the signal will come from long back
Mm.
from moon to Bangalore
Right.
station. So that
Mm.
network you have to manage. I mean, it itself, I mean, if you imagine, it's a complicated network, so that they are
Right.
managing. So this kind of work you have to do. You have to manage a lot of servers that is there. So most of the work is like this, and there is a lot of work because the number of scientists or the manpower is very limited, because they are paying a huge amount of money to each of the individual. So that's why there is not much kind of manpower available. So there are huge amount of work that you have to do, but somehow I feel that the research component is a bit missing. So if someone is expecting that they will join ISRO and do a lot of research work in the field of computer science, that may not be possible. But if you want to work on this development side, on maybe these networks and these routers, servers, and all these kind of system related stuff, if you want to do, then there are a lot of opportunities that is there in ISRO.
Right. Right. So let's talk a little about your GATE journey as well, because as you said that you were parallelly preparing for GATE as well as for ISRO. So what happened? Why did you join ISRO? Why not go for MTech directly? What
Yeah.
was that journey about? Yeah.
Yeah, so my gate journey itself is a bit longer journey. So as I was saying, that I came back to TCS and started preparing for this gate and ISRO. So
Right.
I first time I appeared for ISRO gate exam was in 2014. My rank was around 6,000. So that year, I was actually, the work pressure in TCS was a lot, so that's why I was not able to focus much on the gate exam. So the next year, again I started preparing for gate, and that time I changed my project to a support project so that I get some time, because the difference is, in a support project you have to work only for 9 hours, but if you're in a development project or other project, then it might extend up to 14, 15. So that goes on. So next time,
Right.
2015, I appeared for GATE, and my rank was 798. But again, I was, so that time the number of seats in IITs and NITs was very less compared to now. So there is no MTech AI
Right.
and something was there. So I
Right.
didn't get any top IITs, and MTech
Mm.
research or these top NITs was not my goal. So next year
Mm,
again I attempted. So that time I left my job and I started preparing just before the GATE exam. 2016 IISc was preparing the question paper, and I
mm,
did a lot of silly mistakes in that exam, and I my rank was 500. And I don't know, I mean that time my only goal was to get into these top institutions, so I decided to go for one more chance. And finally in 2017 I make it to 37. By then, in 2016 only, I did my first attempt to ISRO, and I was not able to make it to the final interview round, and I cracked ISRO again in the 2017. Now, the next part, that why did I join ISRO and not IISc? So, as you crack both the exam, you will have a lot of confusion that what you should do. Like you have made
right.
both jackpots. Now, what you have to
Mm,
choose? I mean, you have ISRO also, you have IISc also. So I started talking with a lot of people. Now I'm talking about 2017, when there is not much of YouTube channels like yours or mine, so there's not much information about ISRO or maybe GATE or what happens after that. So whatever information I gathered from many other people, that maybe ISRO is good, or maybe some people are saying that it's not good, you should go for MTech. So I talked with
yeah,
my family and they said that let's have a try in ISRO, because my GATE rank will be valid for next 3 years. If it
yeah,
works, and if it didn't work, then maybe I can switch. So that was the whole idea,
yeah,
to go for ISRO. And I still remember I didn't even fill up the form for IISc, so that
mm,
there will be another confusion after 3 months, that okay, maybe I can go to
yeah,
IISc. So that I didn't do. So I decided
mm,
that I'll be going there for ISRO and staying there at least for 1 year, and then I'll be deciding
right,
next year that I'll be going for IISc. So yeah,
right.
that exactly happened. And I mean, I spent in ISRO for around 13 months, and it was an amazing journey. I mean, the overall experience in ISRO was really amazing. The team there, that's really amazing, and I've gained a lot of experience, not technical experiences, but a lot of other experiences gained from ISRO, which is really to cherish for my life. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I mean, I know that you plan everything meticulously, but there's the silly mistakes and everything one cannot avoid that happens. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
because you're a gate topper, so you all it's always going to stay in your mind that whatever silly
Yes,
mistake
yes,
you
yes.
did, that is that. Even if you get AIR1, you still will have that silly mistake I did in
Yeah,
ISRO.
I
So
mean,
that's always
gate.
going
I
to
mean,
happen.
what I have realized from this gate exam is that those 3 hours matters. You might have
Right.
prepared very well, but those three
Mm,
hours, suppose once you reach to the exam hall, and suppose you started doing a lot of silly mistakes, and your whole
mm,
concentration goes, then your results will be
yeah.
hampered. So that's one difficult, and it happens once in the year. So that's a difficult thing.
So, what I would also like to ask is that why the specific college that you chose, IISc that you chose at that time, why was that choice made? Because there were IIT Kharagpur was very close to your home. IIT Bombay is there, IIT Delhi is there. Why specifically did you go for IISc?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that time when I was working in ISRO, I was actually staying near to IISc. I mean, I was just
Mm,
staying in Triveni Road. That's just I mean, from IISc B mess, it's just 5 minutes. So
mm,
when I was working in ISRO, I frequently visit IISc campus. I mean, I used to meet
right.
Sachin, and there are other people like Arpan and all, everyone I used to meet. So from them, I used to get informations about IISc, and I have my friends in IIT Bombay also and IIT Kharagpur also. So what I have, few things I have noticed. So first thing is that if you are in IISc, you don't have to do any TSE. So that's an advantage, that you don't have to do in TSE. So that was there in my mind, but later I did TSE. But when I was
Yeah, you did it
deciding that
anyway.
I don't have to be forced to do a TSE. The second thing is, in
Mm,
all the IITs, most of the time these rooms are shared, but in IISc, I mean, during my time, the rooms, I mean, you'll be given a dedicated room.
mm,
Third, research component I was really looking for, and that time, I mean, obviously, as you know, that IISc is kind of a renowned research institutions in our country, and it's I mean, in the higher ranking, almost all of the rankings. So that was one thing, and I was there in Bangalore, so I had a bias. I mean, because I'm every weekend I'm going to IISc, so maybe there is a bias. So that's why
right.
I decided let's go for IISc.
Mm, okay. And so there are a lot of factors that play into when you go to college and you have that a different experience start. Because I am fresh to college now, and whatever was the gate experience now, I'm having a different experience there. So both the phases have its own fun. So what were the challenges that you faced? What were the fun moments at your college? I mean, because there's also this component that it might have helped, it might have been a problem for you because I mean, you were more experienced, you had job experience as well. You had spent considerable time with GATE syllabus as well. So did that all help there? What was the scene for you there?
No, I mean, because when I was leaving ISRO and joining IISc, so that time already, I have left my study habit for around 1.5 years. So that was the most
Right.
difficult part for me because the last time I studied hard was in before GATE 2017. That means February
Mm,
2017, and then I'm joining IISc in kind of August 2018. So almost 1.5 year, or there is a gap. And in this year, I was working in ISRO. I hardly studied anything. I mean, formal study, I'm saying that opening book,
right.
preparing for a kind of midterm or something. That was a
Mm,
difficulty. The second thing was this whole IIT, kind of IIT or IISc system, where you suddenly come up after 1 month. There are a lot of assignments coming up, a lot of midterms, and everything is coming up, and teachers are hardly teaching you anything in the class, and they're asking you a difficult question in the assignments and the midterms. There are a lot of coding assignments you have to do. So this whole system, I think it happens with everyone, that whenever you reach to IITs and IISc, this system affects you because we are not from this kind of system. So we are from a
right.
kind of a tier 2 tier 3 college where there is a final exam which contains 100 marks. So here 100 marks is
Yeah.
distributed among different midterms, quizzes, and all that's happening every week. So that was the
Mm,
second difficulty. And the third one was like I already have an age gap with all of these students who was my kind of colleagues or classmates. So that was something that I've heard from many students of my age, that affects them during their MTech. So that's why that
right.
I kind of consciously maintain that I have to talk with everyone so that I don't feel a bit older than all
Right.
of those things. So these all of things was
Mm,
there. So the first semester was really difficult for all of us. I remember that I have taken 4 courses in IISc in the first semester, and I was auditing 2 courses. After 1.5 months, I dropped 1 course and I stopped auditing the courses, and I continue with 3 courses. And after a lot of struggle of the first semester, I managed to get 8. So the first semester was really tough for me, and I think for all of them, most of the students who are kind of a mediocre student. But yeah, this is how it is. After a semester, then I started realizing that how to manage this pressure. So then it was a kind of a smooth journey, I would say, but the first semester was really hectic.
yeah. I mean, you're being modest that you have called yourself a mediocre student, but I mean, something that I like to tell everybody is that some people when they enter IITs or IIScs, when they're starting their masters, some people are very happy about it. And as you said, that you also took 4 courses and 2 courses for audit.
Right.
Some people sometimes do undermine themselves that we are mediocre students and they start with 2 or 3 subjects. And so after one semester, the playing field almost becomes equivalent for everybody. The benchmark is set.
Right.
Everybody knows where they are. So it's a collective
Yeah.
experience for all of us.
Yeah,
And
I used to say to all the students that IITs and IISc make all the toppers normalized. I mean, there is no number one, number two, number three. So it's like all the students are
definitely.
at the same level once you take these courses.
And there's also this factor that there are different pools. There's theory, there's systems, there's intelligence systems. So somebody is good with something that you might not be, but you're good with something that somebody might not be. So there's
Yes.
something to learn from everyone when
Yeah,
you're there. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So also something like these were the challenges that you face, but there's also this collective experience, some key learnings that you take away from your experience of the 2 years that you must have taken when you were there. So what were those like? What were some of the key learnings that you took from your master's life?
I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, IISc has changed my life completely. Actually, I mean, before joining IISc, I mean, how I used to think about a problem or a particular topic is completely different now, because IISc has
Hmm.
kind of helped me to build this habit of thinking for every problem or every challenge. Because this will be a complete kind of, I can say that before joining IISc, though I have a rank of 37 and all, but somehow as I am from a tier 2 tier 3 college, that I somehow have this kind of habit that if I don't understand something, let's remember it or go for rote learning. I mean, if you have tried enough, you are not
Right.
able to understand it, somehow learn the pattern that if question comes this way, I'll solve this way. So this is the rote learning I have.
Yeah.
But after joining IISc, I've seen that this will not work anyway, because every time they will ask something completely different question in the final exam, and you are bound to think about it. So this habit, I mean, you have to think in every midterm, every assignment, every end term. So that habit actually kind of made me to be a better thinker, I think. So that was one thing. The second thing was this: how to handle these deadlines and pressure and challenges, because this
Right.
system, what you are also currently facing, or I have also faced, that you will be given a lot of assignments at the same time, and you have to solve it within time, because there is no extension, hardly you get an extension. So this again, kind of help you to kind of build this habit that whenever there will be pressure, you have to deal with it. And frankly speaking, when I joined IIT Kharagpur for my PhD, I was not feeling any pressure, because here pressure was
Mm.
there, but I've already handled a lot of pressure in IISc. So it was really a
Right.
smoother journey for me for the coursework I have done in IIT Kharagpur, and I almost get 10 in all the courses, because that was an easy journey
Mm.
for me after completing my masters from IISc. So that was the second thing. Third was my research journey. So for the final year, the whole final year, I worked under my supervisor in a research project, and finally I got a publication from it. I had a co-guide, or I had a kind of first author from IBM research also. So that experience, that whole 1 year experience, was kind of vital for me to decide for going for PhD. And also because we did the experiment, then we have written the paper, then we submitted it in December 2019. It got rejected. Then we again submitted into another conference. It got again rejected, and finally after 3 submission, it got accepted in the conference. So the whole experience I kind of received from my final year project, and that helped me to decide that I can go for a research or PhD and excel there. So yeah, these are the things. I mean, there may be other things also, but these are the kind of things I can remember now, that where ISIS really changed my life, because the way I now see the things are completely different than what I used to think when I was in ISRO, maybe, or before that when I was preparing for GATE.
Right. So now coming to the domain that you are working in currently, because you were working with systems primarily when you were in your job, as well as while you were ISRO scientist. So what made you decide that you'll go for the specific domain of machine learning? Did you already know that you want to work on it, or you explored in ISC and then decided on it?
Yeah, apparently I didn't have any idea about research, or I mean, when you crack GATE, you feel like you are comfortable with all the 10 subjects. But after you
Right.
join IISc, you will feel that there are maybe 2, 3 subjects you're interested in, rest all the advanced
Hmm.
level topics you are not interested in. So after
Yeah.
completing first semester, so as I said, I have taken 3 courses: algorithm course, architecture course, and this linear algebra probability. So after completing these 3 courses, what I realized is that I'm not good in theory. I mean, my mathematics is really bad. So I'm good in I mean, I can manage coding, so I can excel in this system part, and I have prior experience also working system. So system, maybe I can manage. And machine learning, when I started reading about machine learning, what I understood is that you need a decent amount of math, that is linear algebra, probability concepts you need. At the same time, you need how to do coding in Python and PyTorch and all. So I personally like very much this linear algebra. So linear algebra is not an issue for me, but yeah, probability I'm not good at. So what I understood that time, or what I realized that time, was that I can do well in system and machine learning.
Right.
Now machine learning, there is a lot of rush, because everyone wants to work in machine learning, and in our time also almost 80% students were interested in machine learning, and very few people are interested in system. So I started mailing both the professors actually. I mean, I mailed to a few system professors and few machine learning professors that I'm interested to work with him. And luckily, I mean, fortunately, I got my professor who is working on machine learning, who was kind of a renowned name that time in IISc. And so yeah, that's how it happened. I mean, that's how I went to him, he selected me, and that's how it all started. But yeah, I mean, I feel I can do well in system also. But yeah, this is kind of thing that happened.
Right. When talking about linear algebra, you did you TA'd for that course as well, right? If I'm not wrong, you TA'd
Yes.
for linear algebra. So, because it's optional in IISc, and you said that there's already a lot of pressure when you go to IISc, when you're doing your MTech, there's a lot of assignment, lot of pressure for master thesis, everything. So why take that additional optional pressure that on yourself? Why did you go for TAC?
I mean, frankly speaking, the responsibility for a TA for, well, because this course, what I was TA for this linear algebra, and then in the final semester I was TA for pattern recognition. That was taken by my guide, and the responsibilities are not that huge. I mean, you just have to set up two programming assignment. That was the responsibility, and you have to check it. You have to check the plagiarism and all. So that was the responsibility, and I was really looking for, because I was somehow kind of intent towards academics, jobs and all by now. So I was thinking like, let's set up a question and then see how well I can set up the question, because during my time also one of the senior guy was TA, and he was really setting up good questions for linear algebra. So I was also thinking that let's
Right.
make a try, and the
Mm,
responsibility was manageable, because in third semester I had two courses and placement, so setting up two questions for two times was easy. And final semester I didn't, I mean, I had just one courses. So by that time, I mean, I already have learned how to deal with the pressure and all by the third semester, so it was manageable, so that's why I decided to go for it.
right. So, while you're on the topic of the domain that you're working on, can you, in layman terms, explain what you worked on in during your MTech time, and if that work continued in PhD, or are you working on something new in PhD?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm currently also working on the similar direction I worked for my MTech. So the title is graph representational learning. So as you know, graph has different nodes and there are different edges. So
Right.
basically, what I try to do is I try to learn a meaning of those nodes. So suppose
Okay.
you take social network. So social network, me, you, Deepak, we all are connected. So we are nodes, and our connection. If you are friend there, so kind of we are connected by a age or something. So I try to learn the meaning of you or Deepak or myself, and then I try to kind of do some kind of inference or prediction, that what is the probability that if you and Deepak are friends and me and Deepak are friends, and what is the probability me and you will be friends in the future. So this kind of modeling I used to do for different kind of graphs. So there are social network. During my MTech time, I did it for a citation network. That means how the papers are cited and all. So that
Right.
network. Currently, I'm doing it for chemical networks. So
Okay.
the way they are connected through bond, their edges, no representation or meaning for the nodes and properties like energy and all. So I learning model to predict these different properties. So this is kind of overall idea.
Right. So while we're on the subject of PhD, I mean, we have talked a lot about your PhD, but there's one question in my mind, that because you said that while you were doing your MTech, you got the confidence that you can go for PhD, you can explore it further while you were doing your research project. During your MTech, you got the confidence that you can work on research project as a PhD candidate as well. But what actually motivated that PhD? Was it to explore the field more, or was there some other reason that you wanted to go for higher research, something like that?
Yeah, so when I was leaving ISRO, I mean, as you already discussed, that I worked in the IT companies, and then I worked for a government research organization. So when I was leaving ISRO, somewhere into my mind it was there that maybe research will be better suited for you, because research gives you kind of an independence, that whatever problem statement you want to work, you can work. So you may be
Right.
part of any organization, so that
Mm,
responsibility is there. But at the end of the day, suppose you are interested in graph, you can work in graph. So that independence is not there in any company, because if you join a
right.
company, like you have to work for the interest of company. So suppose, as I was saying, that if I join ISRO, so I have to do all the this aerospace related task during my office hour, and then maybe in the free time I can explore. So that I was not looking for. So I want to do something independently, and I was thinking maybe research will be the thing I was looking for, but I was not sure. So I joined IISc and I started exploring different subjects. And then, as I said, that in my final semester, final year completely, I dedicated advocated for my this MTech thesis and research work. And then once this this paper got accepted in a conference, then I feel like, okay, this is something that I can do, because I really like this process of doing research, that you have to do a lot of literature study. Then you will find some idea, then you'll build your model, you will do the experiment, then you'll submit it. So this whole
Right.
process I started kind of liking when I was in my MTech final year. So that was the
Right.
idea of deciding that I won't be going for any job, I'll be going for PhD. And yeah, this is how this happened.
Right. Right. So, along with being a PhD candidate, I mean, most of our viewers would already know that you have your own YouTube channel, you are a YouTuber as well. And just to let people know that the kind of information that you share on your YouTube channel, it's extremely useful. So for somebody making all these decisions that I'm asking you questions about. So if somebody goes to your YouTube channel, they can get an in-depth answer to all these questions, way more depth than what we are trying to cover in this interview. So thank you for that. That information helped me during my this while I was giving it. It also motivated me because there were a lot of discussion that you have done on what is the MTech life about, what is the first semester like, what is the second semester like, all the different semesters, what are the challenges, what are the pros, what are the cons, everything. So in this in-depth analysis also motivates GATE candidates to go for it because the life that one pictures while they go for MTech in IISc or IIT, that's the glorious life that one gets to live there. So how did that come out? How did you decide that I'll also go for YouTube, I'll also do THA, I'll also go for research? So how did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, I mean, so after MTech, actually, I joined IIT Kharagpur as a research associate. So I didn't immediately join PhD. So for 1.5 year, I was a research associate. That means a kind of temporary job kind of things, that you will join under a guide or under a supervisor, and you'll be doing primarily research on particular project. So it was 2021 actually. So when I was working on the first problem, and that problem I was not able to. I mean, I have solved it, I have submitted, but it was not going through any conferences. We submit to a journal, so everything was a messy things that time. And I suddenly realized that if I have to continue this journey for another 5 years for my PhD, I need something else, because every day thinking about research, reading paper, so that's not help. And that time actually COVID was going on. That time I really felt the kind of, I started missing IISc, because in IISc, we sometimes we talk with other people, we hang out, we celebrate birthdays, and also those things are there. So that's why I didn't feel these things during my MTech thesis time. But during COVID, when I was sitting at my home, I was only doing this kind of research work and all. So I started feeling that I should do something extra also, which is kind of a creative thing apart from my research journey, so that whenever I feel bored or frustrated, I can switch up completely from there, and I move to that habit, create something, and then again refresh me back and continue my work, research work. So then I realized that many of my friends told me when I cracked GATE back in 2017, that because I have a all India rank 37 and I have a good experience in GATE, so I should have a YouTube channel in 2017. But it didn't happen that time, because I was that time in ISRO. Then I was in IISc, so it didn't happen that time. So then I realized in 2021 that let's try in YouTube. And that time I actually given interviews in different IITs and IISc for my PhD kind of admission. So I decided that, okay, I have given interview for all the IITs and IISc, so I have 6 experiences, and then I have a couple of ideas about GATE. And also I listed down, there are 20 topics. I still remember there are 20 topics I listed down that I can make videos of. Let's do it, and then see what happens. So this is how it all started. And now I have many topics to talk about and very less time to make videos, because time is so less for me. So this is how it started initially. Then I joined PhD. So then gradually the subscriber count increases, and now it's kind of a pipeline that in the weekends I used to make videos, or this kind of interviews I used to conduct, and in the weekdays I do my research work. So this is how the whole thing is streamlined now. And And it's really a kind of a very good thing for me that whenever I got frustrated during my research work in the weekdays, I completely shut down everything and shoot a video, plan properly, shoot it, edit it, and upload it, and it gives me kind of a refreshment. And then again on the Monday, I came back and do the research work. So yeah, this is how things are going on now.
So you have a extremely wide range of experiences you have had in the last 10 years. So I'll not touch upon everything, but would definitely like to ask you what, according to you, makes somebody a good PhD candidate? Because that's the current thing that you're working on. So what makes a good PhD candidate?
I personally feel that if you really are interested in doing research, then if you join PhD, you will be doing, you will be excelling in this field. Because in PhD, most of the time you are in depression because most of the time you are doing experiments that's not working. Because the
Right.
work or the problem that you're dealing with, nobody knows how to solve it. Even your guide is not sure about that what the approach that you have to take. Like in companies or all, if you are doing a development work, there is some solution in some other domain or anyone has already attempted a solution. But in research, the problem is that nobody knows the answer. Maybe somebody will guide you that if you go in this direction, maybe the problem will be solved, but you can try it, it may fail. So that's why, from you have to be self motivated a lot. So I mean, if you can check in the foreign universities professors website, so they always look for self motivated PhD students. So this self motivated was mentioned in almost all the professors profile that I'm looking for self motivated PhD students. So that's why you have to be very self motivated if you want to do well in PhD. And for being self motivated, you have to be really interested on doing what on the work that you are doing. So that's why I feel that if you are really interested in these research areas, then it's a plus point for you, for a plus point for you. And you can't expect that your guide will solve everything for you, or maybe the other, obviously your guide will help you, the other PhD student will help you, but at the end of the day, everything you have to do by yourself. You have to be self motivated. So that's why if you are really interested, I would suggest then only you would join PhD. Because I have even seen in IISc, also in IIT Kharagpur, also many students join PhD because they don't know why they have joined PhD. They are not getting any job, so that's why they thought, let's join it. We'll be getting some stipend, or maybe from somewhere. I mean, they are not satisfied in their job. They left it and joined PhD. So these things, if you are deciding, then there is a huge chance of making a mess because you are not interested in PhD just because you have some other issues in life. You come and join PhD. So I think that's a wrong decision to take. If you're really interested in this, then only join PhD.
I mean, yeah, this is a really good answer for me as well because as a MTech student, you get this question in your mind because you see a lot of research being conducted in your institute. So you definitely will get this question at some point in your MTech life. Should I go for PhD or should I stick with job? So the having this clear instruction in your mind that PhD cannot be an alternative for you feeling bad about something else. So if you're feeling bad about job, let's go for PhD. That
Right,
cannot
right.
happen. You will
Yeah,
definitely have to
yes,
have
yes.
a clear answer for why to go for PhD. So
And I
long-term
have seen many
commitments,
examples. I mean, I have seen examples in IISc also during my time. In IIT also, I'm seeing many people. They are not. I mean, they have joined IISc, joined PhD because they have some issues in their job and something, and now they are not sure about what to do. Years
right?
are going on, papers are not coming. They are frustrated, and most of the
Yeah,
professors actually they don't care because their life is set. I mean, if you can't do well, they will give you a PhD degree at the end of 7 year or 8 year. But what you will do with
right.
that PhD degree? And if you're not
Yeah,
able to get some good publication from the PhD, I mean, just for getting a doctorate degree, if you are going for PhD, I don't know what does this mean.
yeah. So KD, thanks a lot for answering a lot of our questions because this is definitely going to help
Yeah,
a lot of GATE candidates, a lot of masters, a lot of PhD candidates as well. Before we let you go, I have one last question. I mean, we must know that what are your future plans? What are you thinking about the next 2 to 3 years, or maybe after PhD? What are the plans?
yeah. For the next 2 years, I'm trying to wrap up my PhD as early as possible. So that's the immediate goal I have. And after that, probably I have to do a postdoc because I'm thinking of going into academics. So if I get a good IIT for a assistant professorships, then I'll be choosing that. But yeah, if I don't get it, maybe I'll be joining some research lab. So that was my kind of backup option. So let's see. It's very difficult to predict now. So what will happen after 2 3 years? But yeah, the immediate plan is to have a couple of more papers and finish the PhD and then look for the options. So yeah, I prefer to be in academia. I mean, among these setup that among the students to help them and doing my research at the same time because I want to really want to do research because that is something I really liking now. So I want to do research because if I join research lab, maybe again that things will come that I have to work for companies interest. So that I don't want. But yeah, let's see how things goes. So yeah, that's how it is.
So thank you for your time and do keep making the
Yeah.
videos that you do because we'll keep on following on your path. Whatever you do, we'll at least have a good estimate
Yeah,
of the path.
that's the whole idea because I know when I was
Right.
struggling during my gate journey or after that, so I didn't find any reference to follow. So that was also kind of a things that I feel that I'm adding values that these videos are helping students. So that's actually motivating me to make more and more videos. So yeah, I'll be doing that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
all the
thanks
best
for
for
having
your
me
future
in
plan.
this post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for having me in the podcast. Thank you.
Okay.